So watch me do a step-by-step super affordable makeup tutorial for beginners, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys all the products that I used and their prices as well. So if this is what you would like to see, keep on watching. So I'm going to be using my Kiss Beauty green tea spray to hydrate the skin, and this costs for 3,000 naira. Some people sell for 2,500, but I bought my 3,000. Then I went ahead to moisturize the skin with my Cetaphil moisturizer. This moisturizer cost me 4,500 naira. But that does not mean there are no other moisturizers that are lesser, but this is the particular one for me. I feel is affordable, that's why I use it. So after moisturizing, I'm going to let it absorb into the skin before priming the face. So primer helps to give the makeup a very good base to sit on, and I'm using my Kiss Beauty primer. This primer is cost for 3,000 naira. So after priming, I'm going to let it dry into the skin before moving on to this classic mattifying primer, and I'm going to be applying it on her T-zone area. Her T-zone area is most likely to get oily at some point. That's why you need to mattify the T-zone area, and this classic primer is cost for 3,500 naira. So after applying the primer, I went ahead to lock in the skin prep with the same Kiss Beauty spray. So after that, I'm going to let it absorb into the skin before moving on to foundation. For foundation, I'm going to be using the Zikel foundation in the shade 030. So I'm using my flat brush to apply it all over the face before blending. And this Zikel foundation cost me 6,000 naira. So after applying it, I went back spraying the face for easy blending. Then I went ahead using my damp beauty sponge to blend the foundation into the skin. So I got this beauty sponge for 3,000 naira, and the name of the beauty sponge is Beauty Line by Didi. This beauty sponge is very nice and soft. So after blending in the foundation, I'm going to be locking it up with this same spray. This should help the foundation to stay intact. After that, I'm going to let it dry before contouring. So if you want to contour, you need a shade that is 2 to 3 shades darker than the skin to contour. And I use this Flawless Ivy foundation in the shade Honey to contour her face. So contour helps to add dimension to your face by using foundation or concealer that is slightly darker than your actual skin. And it also helps to enhance your facial features. So I got this Flawless Ivy foundation for 6,500 naira. So after contouring the face, moving on to cream blush, I'm going to be using my Blossom lip palette for blush. So I make use of this lip palette for blush and for lipstick. So I mix this orange and red color and apply it above her cheekbone and a little bit on the tip of her nose. So this lip palette cost me 9,000 naira. After that, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to blend. So moving on to highlight, I'm going to be highlighting the face with this Zikel concealer in the shade Honey. This concealer costs me 2,500 naira. So if you want to highlight your face, a little concealer goes a long way. Avoid packing too much concealer on the face. So after highlighting the face, I'm going to be using my beauty sponge to blend the concealer on the highlighted area. So while blending the concealer, don't be too hard on the skin, because if you are hard on the skin, the beauty sponge will absorb the concealer. So make sure you blend properly and blend everything into the skin. So after blending in the concealer, next is to set the concealer with this Merak setting powder in the shade Cinnamon. Before setting, I went back using my beauty sponge to blend the areas underneath the eyes to avoid creasing. And this setting powder cost me 15,000 naira. So while setting, be light-handed. Don't pack too much setting powder so that it doesn't cake. Take it one step at a time and make sure you set properly. So I'm only setting on the highlighted area, the places I applied the concealer. So I'm using this setting powder to set it. So like I said, don't pack too much setting powder. Make sure you set properly before moving on to the next side. So next is to set the rest of the face. I'm going to be using this Royal Powder palette. I'm just going to take this shade here to set the rest of the face. So while setting the rest of the face, make sure you use the exact shade of your skin color to set the rest of the face. Do not use a shade lighter or darker. And this powder palette, I got it for 12,000 naira. So but you can make use of any powder of your choice. So after setting the rest of the face, moving on to dry contouring, which is the low light contouring, I'm going to be mixing these two dark shades to set the cream contour I applied earlier. So after contouring the face, I'm going to be contouring the nose with the same shade I used in contouring the face. So after that, I used my powder brush to blend everything together. So for more coverage, I'm going to be applying this light shade from the same powder palette and apply it on the areas I highlighted. So after that, I'm going to be setting the face again with my Keys Beauty Spray. This would help to reduce the powder effects and helps every product to sit properly into the skin. Then I allowed it to dry properly before baking. For baking, I'm going to be using the same setting powder I used in setting the face to bake the face. So at this point, you can also use your translucent powder to bake the face. So after that, I went back using my contour brush to blend again, just to define the face more. So moving on to the brows, I'm going to be using my brow charm to lay the brows nicely. And this brow charm cost me 1,800 naira. So after laying the brows, I'm going to be outlining the brows with my carrot gel liner and my angled brush. So this carrot gel liner cost me 2,500 naira. So after drawing the brows, I'm going to be highlighting the brows with the same concealer I used in highlighting the face to highlight the brows. So after that, I blended it immediately so that it doesn't get dry and look tacky. So after that, next is to highlight the top of the brows. I'm going to be using the same foundation I used on her face to highlight the top of the brows. I don't like using the same concealer I use underneath the brows to highlight the top of the brows because I wouldn't want the top of the brows to be lighter, to be looking very light. It's supposed to look very natural. That's why I prefer using the same foundation color I use on the face to highlight the top of the brows. So after that, I'm going to be setting the concealer. So I'm just going to take this powder shade here to set the concealer. So next, I'm going to be applying this darker shade underneath the beginning of her brows. So moving on to eyeshadow, before you apply your eyeshadow, you need to prime the lid. You either use a primer or a concealer, but I'm using my Viange eyeshadow primer to prime the lid. So this eyeshadow primer cost me 2,500 naira. So after that, I'm going to be blending it in order to achieve a smooth like finish. Then moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using my Blossom eyeshadow palette. So I'm just going to take this shade here and apply it on the outer corner, then blend it towards the inner corner of her lid. So this eyeshadow palette cost me 9,000 naira and it's very nice. The eyeshadow is well pigmented, so I would advise you get one if you need one. So after that, I'm going to be using this darker shade from the same eyeshadow palette and apply it on the outer corner, then gently blend it towards the inner corner of her lid. So I went back using that brush I used in applying the eyeshadow base. I went back using it to blend the inner corner of her lid. So after that, I'm going to be applying this shade here on the inner corner of her lid. So I'm just gonna use my brush to press it in. So after applying, I'm going to be using my eyeshadow blending brush to blend to avoid any demarcation. So next I'm going to be applying some setting powder on the outer corner of her lid to define the lid. So next is to line her upper and lower lash line. I'm going to be using the same Karite gel liner, the black shade, to line her upper and lower lash line. So next I'm going to be using my Zaron mascara to prep her natural lashes and also give it volume, and this Zaron mascara cost me 4,800 naira. This is one of the best mascaras I've ever used. Like, it's the best I've ever used. After that, I'm going to be wearing her these lashes from Chi Lashes. So next I'm going to be prepping her lower lashes with the same Zaron mascara. So moving on to powdery blush, I'm going to be using this Tara the makeup blush palette. I'm just going to take this shade here and apply it above her cheekbone and a little bit on the tip of her nose. It's been a while I bought this blush palette. I don't know how much it's being sold now. So after that, I used my contour brush to blend. So moving on to the lip, I'm going to be using this lip liner to outline her lip. So this lip liner, I got it for 2,000 naira. After outlining the lip, I'm going to be blending it with my blending brush. So next I'm going to be applying this nude shade from my Blossom lip palette. I'm just going to apply it in the middle just to brighten up the lip. Then I went ahead using this brown shade to outline the lip again. So next I'm going to be adding this classic lip gloss, and I got it for 2,500 naira. So I went back using that lip liner again to outline the lip because I really want it to pop. So after that, I'm going to be dusting off the excess powder on her face. So I went back using my spoolie brush to brush her brows again. So after that, I'm going to be setting the face again with my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. After setting, I'm going to let it dry. So I'm using my fan to dry it. Then moving on to highlighter, I'm going to be using this Younger Beauty highlighter. So I'm just going to apply it on the places I want the highlight to pop. So after that, I'm going to be using my brush to blend everything so that it would look neat and well blended. Then I went ahead to set it for the last time with my Kiss Beauty Spray. So after setting, I'm going to let it dry properly into the skin. So next I went back using that Zaron mascara on her lashes so that it will blend well with the false lashes. And this is the finished look, guys. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.
Okay,